What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, the one that was produced by Michael Bay, and it's actually not a bad remake, and it's not a bad movie if you look at it by itself. This is a decent horror flick. And after that atrocity known as the Next Generation, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre needed a reboot slash remake in order for that franchise to get some balls and teeth again, since Kim Hinkle decided to emasculate the entire franchise with just one movie. My thoughts on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake are simple. I like this movie. Is it perfect? No. Does it have a lot of bad things in it? Yeah. Does it have a lot of good things in it? Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you my goods and my bads. This is going to be a defense video pretty much of a movie that I actually enjoy. My positives. I like the production of this movie. I thought Marcus Nispel did a really good job behind the director's chair. I like his visual style. I like his visual look. I like how he did everything practically with very little CGI. I compliment and commend Marcus for doing something like that, and I also commend him on bringing in Daniel Pearl, the original DP of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Together, these guys they didn't redo the original movie. That original movie had a very gritty documentarian feel. These guys went for a more modern, sleek look for this movie, and for this movie, it works. It makes it stand out on its own. This movie does not need to be compared to the original movie because yes, it does homages to the original movie, but it tries to be its own thing. It doesn't it's not a beat for beat remake of the original movie. And I don't really appreciate the fact that this movie gets lambasted for not being what it is. This movie is good. I like it. I enjoy it. I thought Nispel did a good job. I thought Daniel Pearl did a good job. For the most part, I enjoyed the cast. Jessica Biel as she's the only weak link in this movie. To be honest with you, she's the final girl. She's not horrible, but she ain't particularly good. And her character, Erin, comes across as a bit of a bitch. And when you actually watch the movie, the chain of events that take place all go back to her and her wanting to do the good thing, while everyone around her was being logical. So to tell you the truth, Erin is more or less the de facto villain of the movie when you watch it with that perspective, which is actually pretty funny when you look at it. But I like the other characters. I like the character of Andy. I think he's funny, and I like his cringe humor. The character of Morgan, played by Jonathan Tucker, I found him to be funny. Also, kudos on the Jaws homage with his look with the glasses and the beard and stuff like that. The boyfriend, Kemper, he's fine, though he's a blank slate. Nothing really interesting about him. And I think Erica Learson, who played Pepper, Andy's girlfriend, she's like Jessie Biel. She's very annoying. Her character just does nothing but screaming and screaming and screaming, and it's oh. But from an acting standpoint, everyone in the cast did okay. You're not going to get star-studded performances, but you're going to get solid performances for a movie called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Of course, the real highlights of this movie are Arlie Ermey as Sheriff Hoyt. Arlie Ermey is fucking awesome in this movie. He's great. I love the dark humor. He also comes across as very creepy and menacing. And then you have Andrew Bernarski as Leatherface. And Andrew Bernarski gave Leatherface his mojo back. He made Leatherface a legitimate threat again. He gave a Leatherface with tenacity, with brute force. Bernarski's Leatherface is a Leatherface that is that of a force of nature. Like, if you get in his way, he's going to mow you down. And this is what Leatherface should be, a brute force of nature. He takes a little bit from Gunnar Hansen, but he makes it his own thing. And I appreciate Andrew Bernarski for doing that. So his Leatherface, I applaud Bernarski for making Leatherface scary again. And I think the best scenes in this movie are the scenes with Leatherface naturally, and Leatherface just doing his thing. They're very, very creepy. They got some good atmosphere to it. I particularly like the slaughterhouse scene at the end of the movie between Leatherface and Erin. I thought that was a really well-directed scene. And I like most of the chase scenes involving Erin and Leatherface too. When they go to the prairie house, I thought that was a nice, intense scene with Erin and Morgan trying to hide. So I thought that was handled well. The stuff with Hoyt is just ghoulishly entertaining. First time we see Hoyt, they're trying to get a dead girl into the police car. Now, the chain of events happen when the kids pick up a hitchhiker, and she blows her brains out because she survives the Hewitt family. And while they're going to get help, they're going to the BBQ shop, which is run by Luda May, Leatherface's mama. And she was like, "No, I can't go back there. Pulls a gun out of her cooch. Yes, It's as ridiculous as it sounds. She pulls a gun out of her cooch and blows her brains out. And it's when you talk about it and watch it, yeah, it's kind of stupidly funny that she pulls a gun out of her cooch. It's ridiculous. But yeah, but that's what gets the ball rolling, gets the plot moving, and gets in how we get to the crescendo that is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Uh, Another thing I like about this remake, I like the production design of this remake. I like the aesthetic of this movie. The Hewitt house in this film. In this film, the Chainsaw family are called the Hewitts, and their house is just this massive colonial plantation-like house. It's foreboding, and at night it looks just creepy and scary as all hell. I love the look of the Hewitt house. I think it gives a run. I think this house beats out the original Sawyer house from the original movie. That's just me personally. I think this house has a more of a standout look, and it stays more in your brain. Particularly when you illuminate it, it looks even creepier when it's in the darkness and in shadow. So yeah, that's good stuff. Now this movie does have a lot of throwaway characters in it as well. You got the tea lady and Henrietta. They don't do much. There's this whole subplot where they kidnap a little baby and Aaron saves at the end. You could have taken it out, would have been the same movie. Just stretches out the climax after Aaron chops off Leatherface's arm because the movie remembers that, oh wait, we got Sheriff Hoyt that she has to take out now. So, it was a flimsy little thing just to get just a type of loose end. You could have done it in a different way without having a baby subplot to begin with. I'm sorry, it didn't really add anything to this movie. Didn't really give it a sense of danger. It was just very, very tacked on. So yeah, that I didn't care for. And like I said, while I do like most of the kids, I can't stress enough that Jessica Biel and Erica Learson, they just annoy me in this movie, particularly Learson. She's just very screaming with it. Jessica Biel has moments where she could be okay. Then she has moments where it looks like she's phoning it in. And she just has a very bitchy character. She's resourceful, but she just comes across as such a bitch. And when you watch the movie from the perspective that everything's because of her. She killed her own friends and she doesn't even notice it. So yeah, very unlikable protagonist in Jessica Biel because you're kind of cheering her on to get off by Leatherface, and of course you're disappointed when Leatherface fails. But it is what it is. So yeah, anyway, those are just my brief thoughts on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Overall, I thoroughly enjoy this movie. I like it on par with number 3, and I actually prefer this one over 3, though I really, really like 3. But I think this movie is better. You have a great Leatherface in Andrew Bernarski. You have an awesome, memorable character in Sheriff Hoyt. Beautiful production design. This movie looks beautiful from an aesthetic standpoint. I love the sleek cinematography. It really does make it stand out, and it gives it its own identity, which is what this movie needs to have, its own identity. And to me, it has its own identity. It doesn't try to rehash the original movie. And I appreciate that a lot. So, yeah. Overall, 8 out of 10 for the Chainsaw remake. I like it, I enjoy it, and I will continue to like it and enjoy it. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.